Assalamu alaikum. Let me begin by wishing you peace and all good things from God. My wife is an Egyptian American. Her name is Lubna, or Luby as she is known to her friends, which means green beans in Egyptian Arabic. She was born in this country, and like many first-generation Muslim Americans, she struggled all her life for a sense of belonging in America as a Muslim. And I think this is something that many Muslims will understand, what Luby calls her longing for belonging. But there are many other dimensions of belonging facing Muslims in America. Recently, I met a Muslim entrepreneur who started an organization dedicated to addressing the needs of the disabled in the American Muslim community. She told me that more than 600,000 Muslim Americans have diagnosed disabilities, and her organization is working to help mosques and Islamic centers become ADA compliant. I mention this because 20 years ago or so, Luby was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, which is a degenerative neurological disease. At first, her only symptoms were tingling sensations in her hands and feet. Then she developed a limp, and then partial paralysis. And now she must use a power chair to move about. Her longing for belonging took on a new meaning then. As many differently abled people know, you can't always count on acceptance or access in our society. There are many friends she can no longer visit in their homes because they have steps. And there are never enough handicapped parking spots to accommodate all those people who need them. And for this reason, over 70% of the disabled are unemployed. But Luby isn't easily discouraged. So when a group of mothers at our daughter's elementary school formed a mother and daughter running club, she was determined to have our daughter belong. But unfortunately, instead of the paved playground, the group ran on the school's soccer field. On the first outing, Luby and our daughter started with the group. But it was too wet, and the ground was too soft for the power chair. Her wheels began to spin, and she bogged down. Trying to hide her disappointment and frustration, Luby signaled for our daughter to catch up with the others. Our daughter took a few steps and then stopped. She turned around and she saw her mother's distress. She walked back and said, "Don't be sad, Mommy. You don't walk with your legs. You walk with your heart." Heart. We all have one. There's wisdom in that little girl's words. We are all part of the human condition. We all experience tragedies and triumphs, losses and loves, and we all long to belong. At this time in our history, when our country is so polarized and our longing for belonging is great, the question is, how narrowly or broadly do we define who belongs in our group? Who do we exclude, and who do we include into the definition of who the we in we the people is? A Muslim scholar once told me that this is one of the lessons of Ramadan and one of its effects, to help break us out of our natural, narrow tribal identities and broaden the definition of who belongs in the wider we. So during Ramadan, when the day draws to an end and we feel our hunger, we remember that the poor and the unfortunate of the world are also part of the wider we. During Ramadan, when we join in a common daily routine of fasting and breaking our fasts, we join countless people across many cultures and languages who are doing the same thing. And most importantly, during Ramadan, we are encouraged to break our fasts every night with celebratory iftars that are meant to be community affairs that bring together not only family and friends, but also acquaintances and guests and people of all faiths, to help us look past the petty things that divide us, to bring us around tables of friendship. And despite differences in the color of our skin, our places of national origin, our differing religious interpretations, our abilities and disabilities, to look across those tables and say, brother, sister, let us share this meal and reaffirm that we are all welcome here. When we do that, then we all belong. I'm Alex Kronemer. I'm not a great religious scholar or the best Muslim I know, but I've met a few, and I want to share some of what I've learned from them with you.